Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm a scouter with 23rd LC Roy in Yaletown in Vancouver, BC. I work with Troop and Company, and I wanted to show you this knot box that my dad made me. He made it all from scratch. Everything in here is handmade, save a couple pieces of hardware. And he made this for me because I'd asked for some help building a knot board or something like that I could bring both to meetings and to camps and make it something that's easily portable. And again, thinking along the lines of a knot board, and this is what he came up with. So I'll show you some of the pieces and hopefully you get some inspiration from it. So right off the bat, you can see the handle is actually a cleat here. So this is really handy for tying knots onto, and it's something that people can practice on. And then when we open it, there's a few things again right off the bat. Each of these boxes has some different activities, and we'll take a look in detail at those a bit more. But what I really like is each of these boxes can go with a different group or a different kid, and they can work on things independently. If you're wanting to make something like this for your own group, it doesn't have to be this fancy. It doesn't even have to be wood. The first thing that popped into my head is you could so easily just use a Tupperware tote and then some smaller totes inside to accomplish the same thing. So in here I've got just some extra rope for knot practice. So these are just shorter pieces. Again, these are handy for this cleat. And then we have some longer stuff here. This will come in handy with one of these boxes as well, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Then we've got some more pieces to practice tying knots on. This piece right here is very important. This is actually a flagpole. So we have a little flag here, and you can actually practice raising and lowering a flag, how to tie it off, those kinds of things, and that's something that scouts need to know how to do. So, and my scouts are having some trouble with it, so this is for them to practice with. There's also the ring here, again another piece to practice with, and the post here. So the post goes down to close the box and then up like this for practice. Again, each of these boxes has some different activities. We'll look at those in a moment. Down here is a little drawer, and in here I've got a bunch of things. These are just some pegs here, again super handy to practice tying onto, especially with our flag here. You can actually tie off to this. I've left that rope a little bit longer. And then in here there's just a sample Turk's head that I haven't taken apart, and then some instructions on how to build a Turk's head, and this is just for some inspiration. And there's another post in here so that they can practice on that. So that's one of the things that's missing in this box, is there's not a lot of instructions. So that's something that I just kind of leave up to whatever the activity we're doing is. You can get books, you can get decks of cards that have instructions, all those kinds of things, even just on a cell phone, looking up some YouTube videos or something. This is the only one that really shows the step-by-step. But again, you can use for instructions, you can use whatever is handy, and I'll provide you some links for that. So this is the first box we're going to talk about. Like I mentioned, this is what I really love about this box. Each of these boxes can be taken out, and either an individual or a group of youth can actually work, or adults can work independently. So each of these opens up, like I said, to a different activity. So this one here, we've got different lashings so that we have not just a sample of what that lashing looks like, but we also have a bunch of different sticks in different sizes and some rope to actually practice those lashings. Again, like I said, missing from this is instructions. So I'm actually working on some cards that will go in here that will show some of the things that you can actually make with these lashings, because if you're familiar with lashings at all, there's so many things we can build just using sticks and rope. So this is another box. This one does have a sample board in the top. So these actually move and they actually come right out. And this one shows all kinds of different bends. So those are knots that tie two pieces of rope together. And then this one shows 2 different styles of monkey's fist knot. And there you can see how they actually slide into the top. So for the bends, we have traditionally, when you have instructions for bends, they're with different colors of rope, usually red and blue. So I have the same size rope in 5 different colors, so that those that have trouble and need a little bit of extra help, especially with those multicolored instructions, can have those colors. Then I've got a long piece here, and these cubes. These are just from the dollar store. You get them in a bag of like 30 or something like that for $1. So I just use that, and they're actually the perfect size for this rope to do a monkey's fist around that. And then this is just a piece of thicker rope, because as you can see with some of the bends, it's important to be able to tie 2 different sizes of rope together. So that's in there as well, again, to practice some of those knots. All right, here's another box. This one's fairly straightforward. So again, this board that moves, can pull it out if we need to change up this activity. And it just shows some different knots on there. This one is all prusik knots, and this is actually a little inside joke between me and my dad that I had a good chuckle when I saw that, because him and I disagree on how to tie this knot. So it was kind of funny to see that, both versions on there. And then again, just lots of rope to practice with. This one, there's not really anything exciting as far as the rope goes. It's just a whole bunch of pieces of this same rope. We don't need the different colors for these necessarily, but you can always add more if you needed to. And then this last one is one of my favorites, and I know the kids have a lot of fun with it as well, and it's heavy. So what's in this one is everything we need to set up this pulley system. So, and as you can see, we've got a cleat just like the one on the front of the box here. And so this would actually be hung from a beam in a building or out on a tree or something like that. And then you can set up this pulley system. So there's actually all of these tackle blocks are in here. So you've got your double and you've got your singles. And then you've got the shackle as well, one of the few things in this box that was actually bought and not made. And then we've got all the rope we need to actually set that up. So you have your rope here to initially tie up your double tackle block, and then this is actually the rope that'll go through the tackle blocks so that you can lift something, for example, the whole box.